Hi,
Hello.
Hi, Ala. How are you? You're good. Hi, David. Hi, Marla.
Hello.
We have 3 people. Let's wait a little bit, maybe 2 more minutes, and then we will continue. How is everything? Do you have any questions? Anything about array lists, maps?
Was the last class on published to the site?
I think so.
So usually Alex in charge of that. I did share my video with him.
Okay.
So he should have published that, but if he doesn't, so tell me if you don't see it, I ping him. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
You didn't see it. It's not there, right?
No, I didn't see it. I was gonna ask about it as well.
Oh, I got it. Okay. So I mean, I guess I'll just ask him probably, so you will get that recording. Yeah, but if you have any questions, again, feel free. Just before we jumped into our practical assignment, I can answer any questions like at the beginning. If something not clear or you feel like, or you want more explanation on anything, just go ahead. Or you just want kind of have it for your records, right?
Yes.
Got it. Okay, yeah, no, surely you should get it. So I'll ping him. I let him know that you want a record. Because yeah, I do share all my videos like right away in the same day. Okay, we have 4 people, Alla, Christine, David, and Marla. I hope I pronounced all your names correctly. Yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong. And let me share my screen and we're gonna just start. Let me also open chat. So let me know if you can see my screen. It's just a quick presentation with a one slideshow. So, but still I want you to see it. Do you see it? Yeah, okay, great. So today we will continue explore collections a bit more, but it will be more like a practical assignment for you. Try to, code a little bit yourself and try to think how you're gonna solve some problems. And what I was thinking to start today, it will be like more of practical assignment. I was thinking about 4 assignments we can do with you. First of all, just to warm you a little bit up, will be to find a number in the array. So this task is something that everyone, like all of you, gonna start first, and then we will code it. If we're stuck or we don't know what to do, we'll come kind of into discussion with everything. Second task will be our homework. It's called sum of 2. We'll see if we're done with everything I planned for today, we can start this a little bit too, just to discuss how you're gonna do that. But I'll give you a bit of explanation, like 5 minutes till the end. So please, if I lose track of time closer to the end, 5 minutes before the end, interrupt me and tell, like, just made me discuss this task with you. Then most times probably today we will spend on task number 3, which will be finding duplicates into the array in the array. Like tell basically if array has duplicates. It could be integers, it could be string values. This is very, very popular interview task. I hear that a lot. And it could be solved in different ways. Actually, any task can be solved in a couple ways. And finding duplicates, it's not just popular task, but it also can be solved with using different data structures. Okay? And then I think it will be a task for the next time, sort an array. It's basically something related to algorithms. But again, it's very, very popular task for test automation engineers on interviews, when interviewer just asks you to sort array in any way you know, or to sort array in some specific way. And again, discuss the efficiency of your sorting algorithm, think about big O notation, and so on and so forth. But don't get too frustrated. I'll kind of discuss everything with you. Maybe again, if we come up faster with some of those tasks, I'll have something else. I'll find out something else for you. But right now, what we want to do, we want to actually just start with this task number 1. Find a number in the array. So what do exactly I mean? Let me draw a little bit here again. I love drawing. Maybe it's sometimes messy, but let's just keep this interactive. So what it means. For example, assume we have an array. We all know what array is. It's basically like a table with some cells in it. Doesn't matter what size of the array. Assume, I don't know, I have this many cells, right? And inside array, I have some, let's say, integers, array of integer, okay? It could be like, I don't know, 9, 20, 1, 8, 7, 2, 5, and say 3. Okay, just positive numbers, just integers. And the task is to find number 7 in this array. So take a look for a minute maybe, and if you want to tell how you're going to do that, raise your hand, and I would like to hear basically your explanation, how you're going to do it. So imagine you came to interview, I'm interviewing you, and I'm giving you this task. So find number 7 in the array of integers, or not necessarily number 7, find a given number. Let's say, let's call it target, right? Target, usually I call it target. Target number, target equals 7, right? So, and also I'll give you a little bit going ahead. And also sometimes, like right now we have number 7 here, but sometimes array may not have that number you're going to find. Sometimes maybe I can ask you find number, I don't know, 31. There is not even 31, right? But that's kind of, extension of the task. Let's just start with the task. We have array of integers, find number 7. So you may even start, if you feel this challenging, you may start thinking not in terms of coding or Java, but just in general. Can you imagine you just have like a paper with those numbers and how you're gonna check if there is number 7? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Would it be, I just want to make sure if the question is basically asking what box is in, which box is in. Okay, so would it be considered, would it be box 4?
Mm-hmm. Like basically
zero.
indexes, right? We basically calling those indexes 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. I like the way you think. The way you're thinking. 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Index of the cell, right?
Yes.
So basically, good approach. I like how you think. So you need, honestly, what I want, you learned a little bit about methods, right? Methods in Java.
Yes.
Right. So method, basically, you need to write a method, which is kind of function, right? Which will return this cell. Basically, it should return cell index, right? Not necessarily number 3, number 7, right? Because 7 is a target, I already know it. But if it's there, I want it to return index 4 of the array. So if my array is called, say, R, return should be R4, right? Like that. Or even it's array list. So let's say not R4, not like that. I don't want to confuse you, but rather I would say R. How to explain it better for you? Okay, let's say array from. Yeah, you got confused me. So, but how do we get to 4? How are we gonna think about it?
So for an array, you would, so I guess you would loop through the array from say I equals 0 to I equal the length of the array.
Nice.
And for each element, check to see if that is equal to your target.
Correct. Great.
And if it's equal, then you will return the index.
Great.
Otherwise, you will, I mean, it will continue. If it's not equal, it will go to the next iteration in the loop until the end. And
basically you describe the solution. Yeah, it is. That's it. And maybe like if there is no such number, you can just return -1. It's a common practice to return -1 if you didn't find something. Or sometimes if you want more sophisticated solution, you can just throw an exception, basically saying like custom exception, saying that there is no such number. Okay. What about everyone else? Do you feel like the solution is kind of clear, or we want to go through it? Let's say David.
I agree with Dean on that solution. I was thinking along the same lines, going through all the cells till I found that number, and then like system out that number.
Yeah. Marla, how do you feel?
No, I understand it for the most part. Like you were saying, like to go through each one of them, and then it will basically, we'll notice that it's not there.
And Ala, any questions from you? How do you feel?
Oh, I mean, I understand. I just don't remember how to write this code. I always have some trouble with writing the code. So we should use the for loop and the lengths, right?
Yeah, makes sense. So that's what I would actually ask everyone right now. Open your code editor. If you use an IntelliJ IDEA or Eclipse, open like, I don't know, your main class and create a method which you will call probably find number. Let's call it find number. That method should return integer value, which will be index of the target number. And that method will need to accept an integer, which will be our target. So basically, I'll give you maybe, say, 5-10 minutes to write this solution. And if you're stuck somewhere, we will do it together right after. Okay, so let me probably help you a little bit. Let me see if I can type here, not right. So you want to write a method in your main class, in a class where is your main method is, in, which will be like public, I don't know, public static method that will return void, and we will call it find number. And that method actually will accept 2 arguments. The first one will be array list. Array, let me make this wider. Array list, let's call it var. And second will be integer value. Let's call it target. Int target. Something like this. Okay. And yeah, so you basically want do something like that, and you want to return index. And index will be the index in the array where the target is, if there is a target. If there is no target, you want to return -1. Okay. So you can even create some value here, integer value variable, which you call index. Index equal, say it equals 0 in the beginning. I don't know if there is something. And yeah. And yeah, just go ahead. Like, does everyone has access to the laptop and has IntelliJ or any other editor installed on their machine? Yeah. Yeah. So just, yeah, try to think about it. And we already said that we might need for loop to do that.
Okay, so we are doing this right now?
Yeah, try to do it right now. I'll give you
how to leave this screen. I'm just trying.
Yeah, you make a command tab if you want to navigate between screen, or just zoom out to make this presentation smaller. Basically go to your screen. I'll give you, let's say, 7 minutes. Should be enough.
Try.
Again, if you're stuck, if you think that you maybe need an hour or more time, don't worry, we will do it together in 7 minutes.
By the way, in that find number method, if you're gonna return a number, it can't
Oh,
be
yeah.
void, right?
Not void, exactly. Yeah, good catch. Thank you. Yeah, integer, of course. Int. You want to return int value. If you feel like you're stuck or you want any help while you're driving, writing, you kind of yeah, go ahead and just ask your question.
I'm sorry, do we need a main method? Or
So I suggest like you can have a main method because it will be a class where you will need that, right? But I suggest create this method separately, like below main. You will need main to test it works, right? To call your method find number from main. So yeah, just sorry, I stopped sharing. Just want to change some security settings so you can share your screen too. Okay. And let me share screen back again. Let's see where my presentation is. So time is up. Anyone finished? Or at least maybe if you're halfway through, let me know if you want to kind of share your screen and we will go through the solution together. Anyone done? Like just, you know, maybe type in the chat or unmute yourself and let me know if you're finished. If no, just maybe, does anyone wants to share screen and we will do it all together, but not on my screen. If no one is comfortable, I will do it on my screen, but I do encourage you to just go shame yourself and let's do it together. Anyone, come on. No.
I would, but I'm not done.
Oh, it's okay, Kristen, go ahead. We will finish it. You don't have to be 100% done. Share your screen. I just, you know, adjust security settings so you can share your screen. So I don't want to push, but if you say you would, go ahead.
But I'm not ready.
You don't have to be ready. We will just see your way of thinking and we will edit your solution and finish it.
But seriously, I'm not ready.
Okay.
Started through like
Okay.
And I'm still in the middle. Like
okay. Allah, how do you feel? You want to share? Even if you're in the middle, it's fine. Oh, you muted. I cannot hear you.
I just wrote the method and I just start to type something. If you want, we can do it together, but I'm not done. I mean, with your help, we can do it together.
Okay, if you feel comfortable, so let's do that. Let's do that together.
Okay, so let me share
your screen and we will, yeah, we will check your solution. Because I also want to see where do you stuck, right? What is hard for you?
Yeah, it said that someone, I think you're sharing the string, the
Oh,
screen.
let me stop sharing. I
Mhm.
stopped sharing and now you should be able to.
Okay, just a moment. Okay. Can see it.
Okay, great.
All right. Sorry. So yeah, I just wrote this and I start just to write the for loop.
Okay.
So
Mhm.
it should be like I think 0.
Mhm.
And after this, I think it was I was not sure how it was equal.
So the last value, what it should be? Let's think together. Like we don't know how many numbers are there, but we assume that it should be the last number of the array, right? So let's say we have 10 numbers in the array. The size of the array is then 10, right?
Mhm.
But we don't know that because we just have that R name, right, in the function. So I'll help you like array if you type ARR, the name of your array, right? ARR.
Here?
Yeah, and then type dot. It will like 2 hours.
Sorry.
Dot. It should give you suggestions. Oh, can you actually click Alt Enter? So you see how it's got, because array need to be imported as a library, like over there, yeah. And then you will be able to see import class, like select that import class. Now you see that Java array list, and now when you like delete that dot and type it again, so you will see the methods. I wonder why don't you see the array list methods? It should give you like basically size method. Array has method called size. So if you
maybe like this. Oh, sorry.
It should be less than, less or equal actually, because size, oh no, actually less, because we want to iterate to the size of the array. And if size is 10, the last index will be 9, right? So your index I should be less than size of the array. So you want to type r.size, and size is the method.
Why doesn't give me this
Why
method?
doesn't give you suggestions? I'm not sure, but I also just noticed that when you started your find number method, you should have at the end of the line, you should have open curly bracket. You see, because it should kind of understand, and yeah, at the end, yeah, and everything should be inside it. It shouldn't be per se the reason why you don't see that, but let me actually try on my own.
Oh, dot size.
Yeah,
Okay.
great. Now semicolon, right? So we want to iterate through 0 till size of the array, till less than size, right? So, and then you need to increment your index, your I value. Go back inside the for declaration. Like you have, like you learned that, right? For consists of 3 main parts. Beginning of the index, like I equals 0, then till the value, the end value when I will be incremented, the size. And then you need to add I++, right? So go back
So,
over there, right?
okay. I plus plus.
Yeah, and you missed semicolon after size. Great. And space, just add another space. Great. And now for your for loop, you want to open curly brackets, right? And open and close it. It's good practice to keep your open first bracket on a previous line, where you see how you have in the function declaration for your for loop. It's kind of conduction when you want to align it like that. I mean,
what should I do? I'm sorry.
it just, you see your curly bracket, you started from new line. You want to have it on the same line where is. You see how you created find number method, find number array list on So your curly bracket is the same line number 4.
Oh, okay, so it should be here.
No. It
No.
was correct. For your
Oh, okay.
for loop, you want to have it the same way.
Oh, okay.
You want to move it back. Yeah.
Okay.
Some people prefer, and you wanted to erase the semicolon at the end, like before this line. You see, you have semicolon. Yeah, erase it. It's not there, but you want to add just space. So good practice, add space and keep the first curly bracket in the same line, but the last one should be like that, like you have it. Okay, press enter, and now let's think, what do we need? So
And we have to write like if something, if
great.
statement.
We need if statement, yes. What we want to check?
If our integer, we have to loop right now, I think.
We have, what's that?
Do we have to loop like if I is, I don't know.
You are already looping. In your for, you are looping. So for each I, and I is kind of an index of your first value. On the first iteration, I equals 0, right? So we want kind of get 0 cell of our array, right? 0. And how to check, like what do we put in the if condition? So we also remember have our target. So we want to compare if our target, which we pass inside the find number as an argument, if target equals to the first value of the array, right? And our first value will be within index I. Do you understand? Oh, it's confusing. You feel
So
confused? Huh?
I think so.
Do you think so? So you want to compare your target, right? You see how we pass array and target value. You want to compare your target with the first element of the array, right?
So I'm writing if target.
Target, yeah, because we have the target within this context of the find number method. Great. We want to compare if target, what?
Equal to the first statement.
Yeah, but first of all, equals, you know that in Java, like you have double equal and
integer.
Yeah, you need to use double equals sign, because double equals is comparison. And if you just say target equals something, it means assignment. You want to,
Yeah. Okay.
So it equals to what? What do you think? Let's think together. To the first
0?
element of the array, right? Not to 0. Now we when compare the value, say first value of the array is 9, right? How assume we have the same array that I have written for you. Like, how do we get the first value of the array? What do you think? It's a bit hard, but you remember I told you that there are like add and get methods in the array list. So we can use that get methods to be able to get the first number, the index number. So if you type array, RR, name, right? And then with your dot, you can type get, you see, and it shows you index, yeah. So this get method will let you to get the element. And which element you want to get? You want to get the first element. And since we are inside for loop, it will be I value. So I like small I within your, right, you already have it. And do you want to check, can we apply it? What does it say? What's the error? Flip I to click it, what it says? Oh, it should be vice versa. I'm not sure why, but it's weird. Statement expect. Statement means like curly brackets, open and close. You need to do something inside. So does this clear? Do everyone kind of get what's the condition we have? why it's complaining what it says. Expression expected. Let me see.
Do you write like int target?
Mm.
Target.
Mm-hmm.
No, you don't need to say get target. I think it's just the thing is why it's complaining might be because you remember how I told you that array list using as a data type, it use wrappers like integers from uppercase, which are kind of objects, not a primitive type. So it might be that you will need to call method equal. So go back to get I and type dot. You see like array dot get I and then type dot after. Over there, type dot. And then you see there is equals. It says equals. And you kind of put inside, put target. And this should work. And then erase that equal. And you need one more closed bracket. Okay, now it's better. Yeah.
Semicolon here, no?
No, you need open and close curly brackets just to put your action inside. So if it equals, what do we do, basically? Open and close it, like when you open a method. And below, just close it. Go down a little bit. And just, go inside and type enter. No. You need to
Sorry.
open it as a method, right?
Okay, yes.
Like methods, for statement, and if statements, they need like those open and curly brackets and closed brackets. So what do we do? So if our array value equals to our target, what do we want to do?
Return the index.
Exactly.
I.
We want to return it.
Return I. Right.
Yeah. Return what?
I.
Yeah. Or we also like created this value index, which, but it doesn't, so you either want to return I, or you kind of want to assign index value to I, and then after that, at the end, return that index. So what
here?
Yeah.
And write index equal to I.
Yeah, but you want to remove that return statement, right? You have return. So why do I want to do that? Like type index equal sorry. Index equal I, semicolon, great. And then your index value above, where it says int index, it doesn't have any value assigned to it, right? Go above, like all the way up where you created it. Yeah. So you want to assign it to something, because you remember how I told you, what if there is no value, no target value in your array? What do? You want to return -1 in that case. So I suggest assign -1 to this index value. Like assign means make it equal. Index equal -1. No, in the same line. It's good.
Okay.
You create it and you assign it, but you want to remove semicolon, right? Int index equal -1 equals -1. -1 semicolon. Great. And now after your for statement, you want to return index. After your for statement, where your for loop. Your for loop. No, it's if statement. You see, the visibility in your if defined by your open and closed bracket, right? You see where your closed bracket beyond, yeah. And then your for close bracket, can you find it where it is for your for loop?
For the for loop?
Yeah, all the way here, right? So you want to return after this for loop once you're done. Okay. Yeah. You want to return Index, not I, but index, because
Index.
I is not visible. You see how it got your, and you want to click on that red blob and see what it says to you.
Number return integer. Int.
Yeah, because right now it's returning void. You remember how we already, Christine said us. We kind of, yeah, now we fix it. And you want to remove those all empty spaces between lines 13, 14, 15, just to have a better visibility. Yeah, it's nice to remove all extra spaces because, yeah, it's kind of code conduct to keep your code clean and readable. Yeah, and you have 12, you want to remove that empty one, right? And line, this one, yeah. And one above, line number 5. So does this clear to everyone? How do you feel about it? What's confusing here? Let's just go line by line and think about the solution. Hmm? Like type plus if you understand the solution in the chat, just so we kind of.
Question
Mhm.
for me, I was doing it while you guys were doing it on my computer. The only thing is that for I, after if was there something I was supposed to do about the I because the I is red? What am I supposed to do when the I is red?
So when I is underlined with a red, you kind of want to mouse over on it and to see what it says about the error. Maybe when you created for loop, you didn't put int I in the beginning, you just put I equals 0. Because usually it's, in most cases, it got underlined when I is not defined, right? So you need to define it. Or go ahead and share your screen and we kind of can.
Should I put it as create local variable?
So when you define I inside for loop, it's already local variable. You don't need to create another one. Can you like, let's
Share
say,
my screen?
yeah, but Paula should stop sharing and you go ahead and share your screen.
Okay.
Mhm.
Can you see it?
Mhm. But it's not erroring, right? It's just red.
This is in red. I was looking to see what did I write wrong.
But it's not wrong. It doesn't say it's wrong, right?
It just has the red eye. I thought that it meant an error.
No. If it's underlined, this kind of red, kind of, oh, it says actually it cannot resolve same. Oh, you know what you did wrong? First of all, what I see right away, you created methods as a constructor. It's the same as a class name, and you shouldn't do that. Collections one. So call it a different name.
Oh.
Yeah, try to do that on the first page.
Right here?
Because, yeah, no, below, because that's the name of the class. And over here, yeah, and methods usually start with a lowercase. Only classes and constructors. You know, guys, what constructor is, right?
Yes.
So only classes and constructors start with uppercase, but over here you want to call it something like find number, for example. Yeah.
You said do it as a lowercase?
Yeah. And it should be one word in a camel style. You know what camel style is? When you second word start with uppercase. Like you could.
Oh, it's okay to do the second word as.
Yeah, it's code conduction. You might just Google it, code conduction for Java, how you call variables, how you call methods, classes, what is, yeah. It's okay-ish. And I wonder why it's still red for you, like underline the collections one is underlined with a red. Might be because you're missing method main, because you need to create another class from which you're gonna run your basically your like everything. Because, you know, in Java, you need to have method main and then wrap inside main everything else, right? Main class. Right now you created separate class, which is kind of okay-ish. But you just, I see like in your packages, you have src package and you have out package. And it seems like if you open your, on the left where you have your like tree structure. So I want to see where exactly you created this collection class. Can you open it?
It's right here.
Oh, you created, it's right here.
Yeah.
And can you right click on it? We want to see what the error is there. Because why it's, oh, you see there is orange blob on, yeah, click on that and see what it says. Save, delete, create test. I'm not sure right now. It feels like you created this for the test running with the test context. That's okay for now.
Try to close the monkeys. I mean, when I was trying to do this at home, and when I had like some open classes, it always gave me some error. So
okay. Yeah, I think you might try to run it, because if there are any errors within, you have main method somewhere outside this class, right? You just try to do it inside the same methods while we practicing where you have your main inside the same class, just for now, okay? Yeah, because it doesn't seem it's erroring anywhere, but yeah, it just confused me to look that you have this underline of the collection one, but it's somewhere on a class level, not on inside the solution that we had. Okay. Yeah, so from this task, what you want kind of to learn, you want to pay attention how to get the last index value of your array. And you do it using size method, right? So almost all type of lists, arrays, maps have size method, right? That's how you access your last index, right? Then to get an index, to get, not an index, to get a value, you do it by get index, right? And there are also like equals, it's from any object, you can get that. So any questions on this? Because we're gonna kind of go to harder tasks, and this must be 100% clear for you.
I was trying to figure out how to do this using the for each loop. And I mean, I couldn't, I wasn't sure how to.
You want to show your screen and we try to use a for each loop together? Yeah, sure. It might be sometimes tricky to use for each loop because especially when you need to manipulate with indexes. You know why? Because we need to return index, and in for each loop, you kind of want to iterate for each value, but you don't care about indexes, you know? So it's kind of, unless we change a task a little bit, when we don't return the index of the array, but we return actual value of the array. So then you kind of can compare your target with for each element and then return the element, you know, but not the index. So yeah, with it, like we can try to do that still, but I want you to remember, if you know what for each loop is, that's great. Just know that whenever you need index to pull index from that, for each will not work. It's not kind of applicable.
I see.
Oh, I like how you already initialize your array with some value to test. That's great.
I tested the well, I commented out this part because I was gonna try to do the for each loop.
Yeah, but that's great for each I, but still you need your if condition in array. What do we do? Let's do it.
Yeah, yeah, I think that it requires an object, so I wasn't sure what to put here.
It's because array list is an object, and you see you put for each I inside array. Let me check it quickly. For each. So let me see. Oh, you see, whenever you created your array, you need to specify the type. You see, when you said find number, when you define your function, you need to have like those triangle brackets for because it could be string, it could be integers, right? And right now you wanna like go up a little bit. You see where it says find number and where it says array list. After the array list, you wanna add. You see how it says and you put integer, uppercase integer, or you can even put string. We can, but integer. And it's gone. Now you want to add if condition.
Right. Oh, okay. So we're looping through if okay, so if I mean, it's not.
You better don't call it I, because I usually associate it with the index. It's kind of, cliche name for index of the array. I would rather say for each element. Let's call it element. So you kind of in your head, you can think about it as an element.
So if also, do I just say if elements equals target? No, equal, sorry.
Yeah.
Equal target, then.
And you need your body with a curly bracket. Wave condition.
Oh, sorry. Okay, so if it's equals target, that means that we want to set.
We want to. So no, you don't have index anymore. Remember, we want to use for each loop. So you just want to. We're gonna change the task and say we don't want to return the index, but we want to return actual value.
Oh.
Which will be what?
Return. It's not element. Return element.
It's an element. Why not? You want to return an element. If you found this, it will be there.
Okay. So that's confusing with the index and the element.
Yeah, you don't. And if you don't found it, you just return -1, not index, but just -1.
Oh, okay.
I mean, index already -1, but you don't need index in this case.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, so this is, so I can't use this. You're saying I can't use this for loop for this task?
It depends on the task.
Yeah.
Depends what you want to do, right? If you want to return index of the element, which is a good practice to return the index of the element for those tasks, because usually people somehow manipulate later with that value. But you can also return a value. It depends. You at interview usually ask, what do we want to return? Do we want to return that value, which equals to target, or do we want to return that index of the value where it's stored, right? But again, if you need index, you will not be able to manipulate with that for each loop. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
So let's test it. Uncomment your part, maybe above part.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you already have this test data inside your main. And let's call this function and try to see.
Yeah. So I initialize
array
array list and then call find number, passing in the array and the target.
Okay, and I see you already run it. You already have
I already ran it, so it did correctly find
nice
the index of element that was 1. So it's
great. So great. I mean, that's it. You solve this task. Again, any questions from anyone else to the solution? because for your homework, you will have a bit harder task. And let me actually give you quick explanation right now, because if we got just 5 minutes left, it might be a little bit confusing, and then we will get to everything else. Okay, we good? We're good to move on, right? Okay. So let me get back and share my screen and see what I have for my presentation over here. So I told you that we will have the task called sum of two. What is sum of two? It's a bit of different tasks that we already done. It's something that harder for you actually, but I hope you can do. So again, you have array of integers and you are given the number, but that number is not a target anymore. You're given a number which called sum of two, right? Sum of two, I call it like that, and say it equals 7 too. It could be 7, right? And you need to tell, maybe write a method which will tell if this array has two numbers, sum of which equals to given number. Did you get it? So basically, if 9 plus 20 is 29, 9 plus 1 is 10, it's not equal to 7. 9 plus 8 is 17, and so on and so forth. And actually, we can tell that 9 is bigger than 7. So it's already kind of not working for us, right? But if you just, take a quick look at the array, you can tell that there is probably this number 2 and number 5, and their sum will give you this sum of 2, right? So you need to tell, like, don't return elements or index of element, just return Boolean value, true or false. It will be easier for you to return Boolean to tell if there is this pair of numbers. There could be a couple of them, but assume there is just one pair of those numbers, like over here, 2 and 5, just one values, just one pair could be used to get that target sum of 2. Okay? Do you understand the description? You do, right? What you need to do. So how to solve it, you will think maybe later at home. You will have today and tomorrow to solve it, try to solve it, to come up with algorithm. Again, there could be a couple approaches. This is hardest tasks. And that's actually the tasks that I also see for test engineers position. Other people told me that they were getting these tasks. This is real life tasks that you can actually get. So I do encourage you to solve it. It's not that easy task, but it's a modification. It's a bit harder than to find the actual number, right? So whenever you using your for loop or with those numbers, you kind of think what will be in your if condition? What are you comparing, right? Yeah, and try to solve it on a paper probably first. Try to think outside of coding in Java, just how you will be solving it. Okay, I'm not even talking about efficiency here, like if it's n squared time or something super inefficient. Let's say, okay, I take number 9, but 9 is bigger than 7, so it doesn't work anyway. Forget about it, like for now at least. Once you're comfortable, you can think about efficiency, but maybe you can loop one time, then loop another time, and then loop a couple times actually over this array till you find this sum of 2. But just try to solve it so it works. Okay, that will be your homework. And we are gonna go next. So our next task will be the tasks that we're gonna do and try to discuss and solve today. will be a task about duplicates in the array. That's very, very popular task, and it has a couple different type of solution. It will be maybe at some point harder for you as a beginners, but you should be able to solve it and get comfortable with it. Again, we have an array. Let's say array of integers. That array could have duplicates. And again, let's just, to make it simpler for you, simplify it just to tell if array has duplicates or if it doesn't. So basically your method, write a method that will return Boolean, true or false. If array has duplicate, it should return true. And if it doesn't, it should return false. And again, what values here could be like, I don't know, 5, 1, 2, 3, 2, 9, 8, 7, 6, right? So you need to write a method. Method will accept as an argument this array of integers, array list. And you just need to return Boolean. You need to return true if there are duplicates. And we already see that I put 2 and 2 over here, so it probably should find it, right? Let's take a look and discuss together how we can solve this. Like what you will do, again, without Java. Let's say you just, it's math class, right, for you. How you gonna tell that there are those two numbers of the same value? Mm-hmm.
Comparison.
What's that?
With comparison, I mean, we can compare and just see if they're equals or not.
What we're gonna compare with what?
Numbers.
Return some Boolean value, like return true maybe when it is. What should we compare? Like we need to compare something, right? We need to compare, but what we're gonna compare? With what?
The values of each number. I'm
Say it
sorry.
again.
The value of each number.
Okay, the value of each number. For example, I take, I take this value, index 0. What I'm gonna do with it? What I'm gonna compare with what?
Position 1. With the number 1.
With the number 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's not equal. What do I do next?
Then you go to next to 2. I mean, well, the next
Same
position.
number.
Yeah.
Same number, 5.
Yeah, 5 and 2.
Good. It's
And then
not
5
equal.
and 3.
What do I do next?
And 5 and 3.
Good.
And then 5 and 2.
Good. And I assume we'll go all the way over here.
Yeah.
Till 6. It's not equal. What do we do next?
And then you move to the next index number.
To this?
Number 1.
Yeah. And
then go. This would be my next question for you. Like, how do you go? Do you have to go through the whole thing and then start at 1 again, or do you go back?
Exactly. Then I get a second, because there is no other way to do, right? How are you gonna do it? You need to touch everything and everything again. I compare 1, and again, we know, like with our eyes, there is no way we can do, right? We just see that there is no ones, but computer doesn't see if there are ones or there is no ones, right? And we just go like that till the last number. And only if we're lucky, we take like letter number 2, right? Compare it with this and compare it with this, and like booms, we got it, and we can return true over here. Oh, I just, jump forward a little bit, right? But once we got it, we return true. And what if there is no two? Let's say it's 0. What do we do? We keep comparing, right? How do we end it? It's not here. Then we got to number 7 and to number 6. We should return false, basically. We should basically wrap our methods into statements when we return true if we found the number, and at the end, when we're done with our for loops, we want to return false. Basically, we didn't find two numbers. So you see, like David, you mentioned that if there is any other way, but even with this way actually called straightforward, or it also called brute force, like brute force, because you take one number and you brute forcefully compare it with everything else. You take second number and you compare it with everything else. And you take third number and you compare it with everything else. It's like brute force. You cannot think about something more, I don't know, you say smarter or whatever. Maybe there are other ways, but this is straightforward brute force way to do it. And it's working, right? You will probably notice that it's not efficient because what? Because it will take you n squared time. You remember I told you about big O notation. The time will be squared. And squared time means that we will have to use 2 for loops. Why do we need 2 for loops? First of all, I take my first for loop. You remember how in previous task, we just need to find one target, right? Over here, like in my first loop, I will check number 5 with everything else, right? It's like for looking for a target, basically, right? And then that's one for loop, but then I need to take number 1 and then again do another for loop inside for loop to do comparison for second value, and so on and so forth. So it will take n squared time to touch that many times those elements. Basically, if I have 10 elements in the array, I will need to do like 100 operations to find the duplicates, right? It's not efficient. And again, square time is not efficient because for such a small array, it will take 100 operations for for the array of 10 elements.
So can we sort it first and then compare? So if there are two elements that are exactly the same, if there's duplicate, they'll be next to each other. So
it's actually one of the approaches to sort elements first, and then you kind of think if there are next element which are next to each other are equal, right? But again, certain algorithms they have different efficiencies. Some of them are already n squared times. Java has built-in sort methods for array. Basically, on your array, you can, with your dot, call sort method, and sort will return your like sorted array. And the best time in terms of algorithms for sorted array to sort array, I mean, is n log n time, which kind of better than n squared. But again, it's sometimes just to sort it. And then again, to touch it, it will take you probably another n, which is at the end of the day still n log n, which is good solution, which is better than brute force. But in terms of coding, it might be harder for you as a beginners to code it, sort it first, and then try to compare. Do you feel like you want to discuss it a little bit? Even if you use like method sort in the beginning, let's say you have sorted array. So let's draw it actually. Let's say we have a sorted array. With values 1, 2, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 7. I don't care about 9 and 8. So what do we do next? How do we tell if there are duplicates? We still, what do? We still take,
I'm still looping from zero, from index zero, and keep going and then do it again.
so basically we want to do this, right? And just to make it a little bit more efficient, we don't want to go all the way down since we already sorted it for a reason, right? We kind of want to compare and remember, basically to get another value to store this kind of flag to compare if number 1 equals to number 2. And if it doesn't, just kind of move on, right? We don't need to go all the way. Then we take next number, compare it, and okay, it equals, we return it, right? But if there are no numbers or numbers somewhere at the end, we'll still loop through all array. This is very actually efficient at some point because it takes n log n time, and additional n doesn't matter actually if we loop over one more time only. So the solution is good. I really like it. You may try actually implement this solution as additional homework for you. If you have time, let's add this to the homework. I will just not tell you to sort it manually, but you can call sort method on your array. So array, if you have your array list, I mean, of course, array list, not array, and you just dot sort. You type dot sort, and it will return your sorted array, okay? So let's try to solve, like write code for the first, our brute force solution, which David come up with. It's actually a very popular solution. It comes to you as a first solution to most people, right? In the beginning, right? Because it's kind of obvious. But again, it's called brute force, so it's not efficient at all. It takes you n squared time because each number needs to be compared with everything else. But still, you want to kind of practice and try to code it. You want to code it. Again, I'll give you a little bit of hint here. You want to use 2 for loops. Okay, so I'll give you 10 minutes to do it. And then we will do it together one more time. Maybe 10 is not enough. Let's 12 minutes. Okay, try to do that. Yeah, you already have one method. Try to reuse maybe a little bit from your previous task, that method, and update it with this new functionality. The method should return Boolean, just true or false if you find that value true, and if there is no duplicates, return false. Okay, so we have like 6:41. Let's just say, hey Siri, set up timer for 12 minutes.
Okay, 12 minutes and counting.
Let me stop sharing. So you, oh, do you need that screen? Do you feel you need that screen? Probably no, right? Okay. I'm gonna mute myself, but you go ahead and unmute yourself in Okay, my timer says the time is up. If anyone finished and want to go through the code explanation, go ahead, don't be shy. If, oh no, if you finished, you can type plus maybe. If you feel it's a bit hard, I'll share my screen and we will go with the solution together. Anyone done? Christine, how do you feel? No?
Sorry. Yeah, I think I did it. I don't know. I didn't get to test it too much, but
Okay.
it seemed to work. Oh, do you want me to share? I'm sorry.
No worries.
Do you want me to share my screen or?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
You want to go ahead, explain how you did that?
Oh, yeah. So I created a function that returns a Boolean called duplicate exists with the array list as arguments. And then I basically
Result.
loop through the array in the first loop. I start at index 0 and I have a nested for loop which starts at the element
+1.
after the previous the element that's is after the elements in the first for loop and
great, makes sense. Yeah,
I just basically so it would compare, it always compare with the next one. So the first element is going to compare with everything, with all the elements after it, using the nested for loop. And what I do is I check to see if the elements in the element from the first for loop equals the element that I'm comparing with. If they're equal, then I set result to true. And so by the time I'm done with looping through every element and comparing it with every other element, I will have the result, and then I return the result at the end. And then in my main function, I initialize
what I ask you, can you try just to put your duplicate values as the last two numbers? Whenever you add in your duplicates to array, for example, you have 4, 9, 2, and then 1, 1 at the end. Can you try that to test?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just remove 2 and put 1.
Oh, okay. Oh, interesting. All right.
Okay. That worked. But I'm a little bit confused with one thing. Can you scroll down?
Yeah.
You see, when, for example, we get into the last value in your first loop, we get in how many values do you have? 5, 4? Go up to your actual value where you initialize array and add numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. For example, you get in number 4, and then you compare in with I plus 1 with number 5. And that's over here. I'm a bit confused. How's the true value got assigned?
Oh.
It didn't throw you an error, but I have a feeling if everything is correct with your indexes. Let's see, when we get, for example, number 1, the first one in your first array, in your first for loop, and then we comparing it with the next value, it returns true. Okay. It's good. Yeah, the solution is great. Congratulations. I'm, yeah,
I didn't
I just
finish
got confused
testing
if you might get somewhere out of the array boundaries. You might, some of you, whenever you test in your array, sometimes I just noticed that you have I plus 1 over here, and you might want to be careful whatever you're doing if you outside the size of the array. That's very, very popular thing. But
Oh,
since
yeah.
you're returning before that, you should be good, because you go still array size, but you return a little bit earlier, so array still has values. But if you remove number 1 and say there are no values, duplicate values, like put 0 instead of 1, or maybe, and try to run it. So, because you might get through false. Okay, it works. Still, it works. Good. Okay. The solution is great. I just a bit worried if everything is correct with your indexes, it seems, because sometimes, again, it could be out of boundaries exception for array
Right.
list. It's very popular one.
Right.
Yeah, you see that, you just check carefully your indexes in your for loop. What are you doing? Especially whenever you add in 1 or you put in something -1, you could get that. Okay.
So how do I check if I is less than, oh, I see. I'm not sure how I would check for boundaries here, but
you don't have to check as of right now, but I'm just telling you, in case if you see any values and something wrong, you need to test basically your array with some, like, you remember boundary testing, with some values closer to the end and to the beginning of the array to see if it works correctly. Sometimes if you find your duplicates inside of the middle, inside of the array, you might be like safe. But if it's closer to the end, sometimes it can find, like, it can throw you an exception. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, great. Thank you. The solution is great. It's correct. It's nicely done with two for nested loops. So yeah, if you haven't done, I hope you followed Christine's solution. And what we're gonna be doing next, let me share my screen. We're gonna continue. Oh my God, when did they open? We're gonna continue with let me. We're gonna continue with the same task, but now I want you kind of try to think about some other solutions. The solutions for the same task, we just discussed, like, brute force solution with 2 for nested loops, which take n squared time, right? Let's think about some other solutions. We already got one with a sorted array, which is great, which will go to your homework now. And let's think about something else. And I'll give you a little hint here. You may think about using some other data structures. Some data structures that I told you last time. So again, we have given, like, array of integers. It could be an array of strings, doesn't matter. And we want kind of tell if there are duplicates. Any ideas? You can also, like, type in a chat or go ahead and unmute yourself.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, sure. What's up?
Can you repeat the question that you're
The
asking?
question is how to solve the same problem, tell if array has duplicates, but in a different way. And the hint for the second solution, try to use additional data structure from the collection interface.
I think it's lineless.
Say it again, sorry.
Lineless, link.
Linked list, there might be solution, but there is easier ways than linked list to solve this. Think about like what kind of data structure doesn't allow you to store duplicates. Try to remember from a previous lesson, maybe.
Hashmap or map? Let's keep that.
Hashmap could be used. We can actually do it next after this solution, but there is a little bit easier solution than Hashmap. Hashmap very smart actually for duplicates. Honestly, like one of the best practices is to use Hashmap. It's a great solution. You come up with that idea, and we will do it right after this one. You kind of already picked that. But before Hashmap, I want you to try to remember one more data structure, which we talked a little bit last time. That data structure doesn't allow you to store duplicates.
The tree?
No, tree is too complicated. There is easier data structure, but it's not linear one. So it might be something like something that doesn't allow you to store duplicates. So basically, if you try to add a duplicate value, you will not be able to.
Oh, a set?
Great. Yes, exactly. Use instead data structure. So I want you to remember set. Set is something kind of unsorted without indexes. But what we can do, like how we can tell if this array has duplicates using set data structure. Let's think about how we're gonna approach it, how we're gonna code it, because you will do it right now. So in set, you remember, maybe you don't remember, I told you, add method, when it called on set, returns Boolean. It returns true or false. It returns true if element was added to the set successfully. And it returns false if you are not able to add that method to the set. If that element already exists. Okay? Still hard, I feel like the pause is too long. So basically, let me help you a little bit. What we're gonna do next to code, to implement, basically create set data structure, hash set, and add each element of your array to that set. So the element with index 1, then with index 2, then with index 3. And then when we try to add element with next index, which already exists, you will receive basically false. And you want basically to return from that method once you get false. And that's how you can tell that your array has duplicates, because duplicate value will not be added to your hash set. Did you get it? Let's try to do it. Do you feel you can try to do that? It's even easier than 2 for loops, honestly. It will take less lines of code to do it. So that's what I'll try to encourage you to do right now. And next, let's say 10 minutes. Can we do it? So again,
Do we create hash set?
so you create a hash set, you specify the type of your same type as your array list. For example, it could be integers. You can even use strings. If array list you passing as argument to your method is string, hash set should be string too. Has type of elements with a string, but you're just creating it as hash set, then name of the hash set equals new hash set, and that's it. And again, to add elements to hash set, you want to use for loop. Maybe you can also create that Boolean variable as Christine had in her example to store that value. And maybe you can assign that value whenever you call method add, you can assign that to that Boolean. I will not confuse you too much, but let's say, hey Siri, set up timer for 10 minutes.
Okay, 10 minutes and counting.
And if you're done earlier, you just type done in a chat. Okay. I'm gonna stop sharing. And I'll be here. If you have any questions, just type them or unmute yourself. And you can actually try to use for each here with a set, because you remember set doesn't have indexes. So you kind of can try to use for each if you feel like more comfortable with a for each loop. Okay, time is up. How is everyone? Was it too hard? Oh, I feel that might be too much. Anyone want to share the screen and we can go with solution together? Anyone? Okay. Let's see. David, do you want to share your screen? No? Okay.
It's kind of a disaster. I don't want to just,
Okay. Al, how about you?
No, I did nothing in this task, so I don't.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. I can share my screen. Just let's go one by one. Marla, how about you? You want to try to share?
No.
Okay. No worries. Christine, you got to share. No, it's hard a little bit. How do you feel?
I'm not I'm not done, but I mean I've never really used hash sets, so I really, you know, I would have to play around with it to see if it actually works. Like I don't know, you know, but
Okay,
yeah.
I can try share my screen, and then with the map you can go ahead, one of you, if you're done with the task. Let's do it. So let me share my screen. I have this solution already on YouTube on my channel. So can everyone see it? My screen. Let me actually remove
Yes.
this message. So I told you that we can use hash set, right? So let's create it. Let's create it right away. Call it hash set with a type, say, of integers, right? If it's integer. And I'll call it set. I can call it anyway, my set. I created with a keyword new, and that's it. Then what I want to do, I want to loop with for loop, using for loop, loop through each value in my array, in this array, and add that value to my set, right? So what I want to do, and I told you that we can try to use for each loop, right? For each loop works that way that if you don't feel comfortable, you can be comfortable right now. So for each value of the type of my array values, I call it usually element. So it's element for each value that we, for each value in array, it works like that, like this column calls kind of in, you can call it if you don't feel comfortable. For each value in array, I want to do what? I want to add that value to the set, right? Set, add element. That's what I want to do, right? And here is the question to you. We want to have our condition, right? Because I told you that add returns true or false. It returns Boolean, right? So if I was able to add this value in the set, right, I can put my if condition around this actually method, right? If I was able to do it, you see, it's not even underlining me because it's already a Boolean expression itself, right? If my element was added successfully, what does it mean? It means it's not a duplicate, right? It means it's not a duplicate and I can basically continue. So what I want to do in this condition to return true, right? I want to make it false, make opposite, right? So basically when this is false, without it, let's say, when this will be false, set, when I'm not able to add value to the set, right? If I'm not able to add, this returns false, and it means it's a duplicate. And to make the condition true, I add exclamation mark. You know, the exclamation mark is basically not, it's an opposite, right? If it's true, exclamation mark make it false. And if it's false, exclamation mark will make it true. So if it's false, then this element already exists in the set, right? And I want to return true means there is already a duplicate. And otherwise, I want to return false, means there are no duplicates. That's it. Maybe it's a bit complicated over here. I can create a separate Boolean just to store that value of this method, of this add method. But I don't need actually. I don't need to create a separate variable just because I can put this in if condition as it is, because it's already returns, the method itself returns Boolean. Any questions here with this solution?
Can we go like line by line and just explain, like, for example, like if we will put just int, not integer, it will change something in this statement or not? And like, what means this greater and less, the signs? I don't understand this as well.
Oh, this one?
Yes.
Oh, it's not even part of the solution. It's just how you create a set, hash set, and specify type of it in Java. Basically, all the collections, like array list over here, you see it says string or integer above or hash set. You need to create it of the specific type. All values in the collections should have the same type, like array list of integers or array list of strings or set of integers. Okay? So that's just specifying the type of my set data structure. Okay, so in this first line, I'm creating a new hash set with the keyword new, and I call it set. It's my set data structure, and it will hold integers, only integer value in it, right? I couldn't put like small int over here. See, it's got underlined because it's a primitive data type. You see, it even says in the error, replace int with Java integer. You see uppercase integers, because integer is a wrapper of a primitive int data type, and collections work with wrappers only, with objects, right? They were built, those wrappers were built above primitive data types. So because integers with like upper int values, which type of, with a type of integer, with uppercase integer, I mean, they are treated as objects in Java. And objects can use more methods, and they also can have null values. So collections works with wrappers only. They do not work with primitive data type. You have to remember that, like primitive, like int, will not work here, and you'll just, Java will catch up at runtime. It will tell you don't use int value. Okay. We can actually use, even if it's not array list but regular arrays, there are also like regular array. We can do something like this, I think, like int array. I don't remember how to create a regular array. Haven't used it for a long time. Int, I think like that. And then over here it will be int2. It actually doesn't matter. It works vice versa, because whenever you cast methods from like lower to higher, it's okay, but you cannot cast it easily the other way. Doesn't like it here.
And when you say like collection, it's like a structure, or what does it mean, like collection? What does it
When
mean?
I said collection, I mean, you remember when we, on the previous session, we talked about how those classes are implemented. So on higher level, they all extend collection. Collection is an interface, and it has some like child interfaces and classes. So by collection, I mean data structure, which extend collections. Okay, so basically we can say like array list over here, our hash set data structure. Okay, this is just for each loop, for each value in this array, and for each loop works like that. You basically create first a new variable, like I create an element of type integer here. For each element in array, what do I do next? What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna add this element into my set. And if I add it, if I cannot do it, basically, if I cannot do it, this statement will be false. And then opposite of the false with this exclamation mark will be true. Then we go here and return true as we found a duplicate. That's basically in this line, the whole logic of the task. Okay. Are we good? Any more questions?
So,
It's hard, right?
When do the problem I'm having is when do we know when to use certain things like the hash set? When do we know when to use those, to use it, and when to use the other ones?
So basically, it's rather with your experience, it's your decision. If you want to use array list or set, you may just, you know, with the time, you kind of, you need to know what qualities of each of them, right? The main kind of quality of the set is that it doesn't allow to hold your duplicates. So in your tasks, whenever you need unique values to be stored somewhere, you want to use set. You don't want to use array list, basically.
Okay.
And when you care about indexing and getting element fast by index, so it's array list. Okay. What is good about using set in this specific example is that you just need to iterate over each element once. And it's a very popular approach. You remember how we said the previous brute force one will take you n squared time, because there are two for loops, two nested for loops, it's n squared time always. Two for loops is most like inefficient way you can think about. But over here we have just one for loop. And this is kind of elegant solution. We loop over each element once, and we tell right away if there are duplicates. Okay. Okay, let's. Any questions? Any other questions? Let's try to.
Yeah, I tried to do this. I mean, I did something very almost exactly the same as you, but I'm not getting the correct answer. I mean, like not answers.
If it's hard for you to understand, you can try to create a Boolean value separately, right? And you can do it like that: is added equals set element, right? And over here is added, like that. So if is added, if element was not added, then we want to return false. Not even over here, it's wrong. Let me put it over here before that. It's probably easier to read. So for each element, we want to add this element to the set. And the result of this action, of this method, we want to save to our Boolean is added. Like if is added is true, means we were able to add it. Then we will never go to this if, right? Because if it's true, is added will be false. Not is added, but if condition will be false. And we're not returning true over here, right? But if we are not able to add this value here, is added will be assigned to false. And we will return over there. Okay. I just don't like putting it here because is added assigned to false right away, which is not the best solution. We can think about it. I suggest keep it unassigned even like that. Okay, maybe it's more readable for you, more understandable. Okay, are we good? Do we need any more time here? One, two, three. Move on to next. Let's move to the map data structure. You will have recording. You can take a look, play around with that, and we kind of want to check what else we can do. So the next solution, maybe we don't even need slide. We already touched a little bit. What we can do, we can use map data structure. So with the map, it's a bit harder because map, you remember, it has two values. It basically has key and value, right? So what I want you to try to do with your array list values, again, using for loop, not for each, just regular for loop, try to, or maybe you can use for each, I don't know yet, but you try to, this is map, this is my map. Try to create hash map and add to that map values from your array list, right? And you remember whenever you add values to map, first of all, you use put method, not add. Map has put, to put element, right? And second, you need to add key and value. So map is a data structure that uses keys and values. How we gonna implement it? Whenever you add in key, let it be your actual value in the array. For example, number 5. It's your actual value. It will be key. It will be unique. You remember, keys should be unique. And for your value, what we can do, we can use this as a counter of the number of elements. For example, number 5, I'm adding it to the map. I put it in the map. I assign key with a value of 5. And the actual value of this key will be the counter. And it will be 1 if there is only one value. For example, if the next value in my array list is also 5, I want to add it kind of to the map, but it's already there, like, because map can only have unique keys. So what I want to do instead, I want to increment this value to make it 2. And then I want to check if my value 1 or 2, or maybe bigger than 1. If it's bigger than 1, it means it's a duplicate because it's second value added to the map. And that's how I want to return true when I find a duplicate. It's a bit complicated when it sounds. Let's try to move one more time, step by step. So first of all, we want all to create map, hash map, right? Then number 2, we want to use our for loop and to put values to the map. Okay, in a for loop, we put values. We put values that way that element, actual element, as number 5 will be map's key. Map need to be put it like with the 2 values, key right? You need to specify two values and value. And value over here will be 1 or 2. Like whenever it's an element added for the first time, it will always be 1. But when we want to put 2 over here, or 3 maybe, to increment this value, we want to have some kind of if condition inside for loop. And that if condition will check if that key already exists in a map. So I'll help you a little bit. Map has this method you can call on your map method called contains key, right? If you call, like, it returns also Boolean contains key. Contains key. Sorry, I will just type it, but you will find it. And you can check if it contains key of this value. So if yes, then you want to increment this value in a map to be 2. And even not increment, forget about even incrementing. If yes, if that key already exists in a map, then just return. You can return if yes, then return true, meaning you find a duplicate. Return true. Okay. Similar to set, actually. You just add in keys and values. Same what we done, almost the same what we done with a set. If map has this key, then return true. I told you about incrementing because this task kind of somehow be extended to the task when you can tell how many duplicates value are there. For example, it could be 3 or more. You can return even, you can save this list from the map and return and print it. But since we just tell if it's true or false, you don't need even to increment. Just check if map contains the key, okay? I'll give you 12 minutes to do this, okay? Okay, we have 4 minutes left till the end of the class. And actually, Alex just told me that he posted a video from a previous lecture with the collections. So you kind of will find it later. And how do you feel? Any luck with the map?
I think I did it.
You did it?
Sure,
Good.
I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Go ahead, and sure. I'm glad you. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
the lit exists function,
Mm-hmm.
create a hash map with key and value pairs being integers, and then while looping through the array list, check if map that contains key, if it contains that that number. If so, then that means it's there already, so there's a duplicate, so return true.
Great.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
otherwise put the element into the map, into the hash map with the element being the key and one being the value.
Yeah, that's great. Exactly. That's how you did it. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I just called.
Mm-hmm. See, you did it even, I think, faster than Sat.
Oh.
How everyone else feel about map and about any other tasks we did? Any like how do we need to discuss something closer? Maybe stop on some functions better or on some data structures or on algorithms. Like we have 2 more minutes left. We can just help someone. Especially again, if you're stuck on any line of code and you feel some logic is not clear. So that's okay. Those questions like people have all the time.
Honestly, I don't feel like confident with all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard for me to understand how to write this code. So maybe they have any suggestions?
Mm-hmm.
What read, especially this new theme with the data structure. Data structure is really like confusing.
Mm-hmm. So what I would suggest, for example, was it hard even with the first task, like find a number in the
I mean, it's more clear, but you see, when I start like typing the code, I even like stuck with the curly braces, where to put them, where is the semicolon, and yes.
Got it. So main thing that you want kind of just get used to the syntaxes a little bit, I have a feeling. So try just, for example, first of all, create, for example, an array and add numbers to array, then print it out and then remove numbers or replace numbers. Then loop through it and print out each number using for loop, not just system out print array, but using for loop. And then try to do those tasks like create an array and then print out all numbers incremented by 1. For example, you have array with 5, 6, 7, 8, and you want to print out its, or incremented by 10, and you want to print out 50, 60, 70, 80. Okay? Try to do something like that, so you will get used to using for loop with arrays, because it's very popular. You'll have to get used to for loops and with arrays, and try just to do basic operations, which will be like adding numbers and updating it with an array. And when you get a number by index, that's also very, very popular action. So if you feel like solving those 2 tasks, which I told you, like sum of 2 is kind of complicated tasks, might be for beginning. If you feel it's too much for you, and even like the task with sorting an array and finding duplicates. It's probably simpler. So try that. If you feel even that is too much, try just, create an array, create a set, create a map, and print out, like, let's say it will be, all values will be integers in those data structures, and try to print out numbers that are multiplied by 10, like each element that is multiplied by 10. So this will be kind of simplest task for you, but still you will need to use for loop to iterate over each element, to multiply it, and maybe to save it in a separate array or in separate set or in separate map. Even don't use map in the beginning, because map is kind of harder. You can get, confused with keys and values. Try to use array list first and try to, get confident with array list. You may come up even with other tasks. For example, replace all number 5s in the array list with 0. So try to do those 2 tasks instead if it's too much. If you feel it's too much, first task, just for array list. First of all, create an array list and return an array list which has all elements multiplied by 10. It's an array of integers. And second task, again for array list, which has all numbers 5, if there are numbers 5, replaced by zeros. Okay? Try to do those tasks instead. They kind of, a little bit simpler. Okay?
I just want to say, I just feel the same way Aleph feels. So I'm glad you went out into that.
Okay. We can go a little bit slower, because I also feel like if there are not many questions, people might be stuck, because...
Yes, because I don't know even what to ask. I mean, when I don't have any
Yeah,
background.
so that's great. Yeah, we can slow down a little bit and go to the methods of actual data structures, just to have a feeling. We can stop a little bit more. Yeah. And we can maybe split some tasks. For example, if Christine feels confident, she can go with those tasks with a sorting, and we can do a little bit of practice with basically manipulation inside array and with the for loops. Yeah, because there is no sense to go further. Yeah, if you feel like not confident. But again, we gotta, you gotta try to do 2-3 tasks, just loop through array and try to print out something and to see what got printed. Because that's the main, it's like basic of everything. It's like fundamentals. You have array list, most popular data structure. Even not set and linked list, you may forget about it. Don't forget it, but you will use array lists and Hashmap all the time. Like maybe Hashmap is a little bit harder, but array list and using for loop over array list, it's like must have. Array list and for loop over array list, and all tasks like those 2 tasks that I mentioned, try to use them. Okay, try to solve them.
Will we have the homeworks, like how it will sound, the homework? Can you post the task? How
the task for you?
Yes, I mean, like, can you post it after so we can see what we can do?
Okay, just those that we discussed, right?
Yes, I mean what we have to do, like at home,
Okay.
our homework.
Okay, I'll tell Alex to send them, because I just come up with those tasks on the fly, and but we definitely can. Okay, that's it for today. I'll see you later this week, and yeah, we'll go more into array lists and into data structures, and hope you'll get kind of at least more confident. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Yeah.